Welcome back to the QPL Stage 1 Finals. This is day 1 of 3, so strap in because if the rest of the weekend is like the match we just saw, we're in for some surprises. Welcome back to 40 Lions and Lethal. Our next round of 24 matchup is going to be k1llsen versus dooi, and already some interesting discussion happening before we went on air, so I'm excited to kind of get into this one. I'm going to start with you, 40. Because you seem pretty confident that this is not going to be a pushover either way.
I feel like it's going to go all three. I've been watching dooi practice a lot, and I know chat's thinking practice games don't matter, but dooi looks on form. I think he's going to be ready for k1llsen. I don't think this is going to be easy for him at all. I think dooi surprises a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's going to go to 3 maps too, maybe in k1llsen's favour though. It depends what dooi does. The last time I saw k1llsen play against someone so defensive was base, and I feel like with k1llsen he can be forced into an uncomfortable style, and I wouldn't be surprised if dooi does the exact same thing.
Well, before we talk a little bit more about k1llsen, let's look at dooi's results from this most recent stage, stage 1. 13 weeks, and ups and downs. He ended this in seed 8. But only a couple of 3-0s, the one versus Rafa, and then Dramas taking it in that series as well. So 40, what you're telling us is not very indicative of kind of what we're seeing here in the overall season results.
Yeah, you might call me a dirty liar, but to be fair, to your credit, he technically would have been in relegation, but he actually beat the head-to-head with Effortless, and that actually knocked him out of that match. So that's an interesting little fact. But I feel like this is all erroneous. This is in the past week. The fact that you even brought this up, I'm offended. No, he should be on point. Like I said, his practice looks a lot better. He looks way more on form, and I think it's a matter of if he can establish his game versus k1llsen, which is not going to be an easy task at all. k1llsen, we all know him as k1llsen, right? If he starts popping off and just hitting everything, he gets in the zone, he gets aggressive, he hunts down his opponent. But if dooi can establish early that he's not going to let that happen, I think he kind of starts playing his game, and it becomes a war of attrition that might go in dooi's favor.
All right, well, hot take. I think this is mustache bias, but let's talk a little bit about k1llsen. Here's a thought I want to throw out, and Lethal, you tell me what you think. k1llsen again, right, coming off of a couple of wins in season 1. Not the greatest performance that I think he wanted in the Quake World Championships. This is a moment for k1llsen to kind of say, all right, like everything is behind me. It's time to move forward. We know what he is capable of. We know what he can do. I feel like it is just all on him, both mentally and physically, to show up as the player we know he could be.
Yeah, k1llsen's extremely aggressive. You see a lot of high fracking games from him. Now, the problem is he does struggle against the passive players. So, for example, when you see him play against base, you can just feel he feels a little bit awkward, uncomfortable. I don't know if dooi can have the same effects. That's why I was wondering, if it goes to 3 maps, it can still go either way. It depends on map picks for k1llsen. We'll have to see what he can do. His rail has always been on form. His tracking aim's always been subpar like anything else. And the problem is, though, like, what can you do against dooi? It's been quite a long time since these two have matched up against each other. But for k1llsen, though, he should be okay depending on the circumstances on some of these maps.
Let's take a look at k1llsen's results in the 13 weeks of stage 1. There were some incredibly close games, right? I mean, it almost came a meme in how many games k1llsen was ahead, and then a couple of frags, and it, sort of the snowball begins, and he ended up losing the game. That cost him a couple of series. Also had some really great wins as well. So as we come out of here, we could talk a little bit about predictions, or we could wait and see what the picks and bans are, because I know that always tells a little piece of the story as well. So why don't we go and do that, gentlemen? k1llsen versus dooi. Here's your picks and bans.
That's exactly what I was wondering right there. If k1llsen's going to get that ruby red Nyx out of the way, and he does. He gets it on the first map, Awoken. That's going to be huge. We got Doom on dooi. That should be a relatively good matchup. I actually edge that out to k1llsen just a little bit because he's so good on that Nyx. Molten Falls, Sorlag versus Scale. Love him thick, Wheat. I don't know what to say about that. That one should be a good one. Then Corrupted Keep.
Fair.
If we get to 3, which I think we will. Again, mustache bias or not, I don't know. Galena versus Sorlag should be an interesting one. Or, excuse me, Strog should be interesting on Corrupted Keep. That Peeker might not get as much mileage, but we've seen it before. So I'm still going to say 2-1 to Dewey, mustache bias or not. I'm going to say it's going to be very close, and the NA boys are repping today, so I feel good about it.
I was saying 2-1 k1llsen at first. No, I was going to say, 2-1 k1llsen at first, but like now that I've seen the picks, you know, Strog on the final map's going to be very difficult. Dewey needs to try and make sure he keeps those totems in check. But Molten Falls, he's been very good. I've seen a lot of scrims from Dewey using that scale barrel on Molten Falls. He's been very impressive over the last week.
Well, we finally get to see the regions clash yet again. This is our second round of 24 matchup. Don't forget, we have one additional challenger matchup. It'll come up a little bit later, but this should be a good one. With that being said, I'm going to leave it to you. 40 Lions and Lethal, take it away.
Let's do it, Lethal. Ain't nothing to it but to Dewey it, as we're going to get into this one. And I'm a little offended that you're going against me. I thought we were friends, but that's fine. I'll allow it.
Sorry, mate.
It's okay. It's bound to
one of those things.
I'm sure Dan and Jackie are making fun of me too. They're like, "Ah, this idiot," but I'm used to it by now. It's okay. Somebody's got to rep the NA boys, okay? And seriously, bias aside, I don't know if you guys have been tuning into his practices. Dewey really does look on form. If he could bring that A game that he's been playing on his practice streams, I think it's going to be rough for k1llsen.
Yeah, I would have said 2-0 until I saw those scrims. Like, you know, Dewey has been looking very good. You know, you've said it before the scrims. I've also been watching the same, and he's been very impressive. He's kept the games all very close. But he normally keeps all the maps close anyway in a Pro League. You know, he's kind of one of those nemesis opponents where he may lose to people he shouldn't lose to, but then he beats people he shouldn't. It's like a real mixed bag. It's very, very weird at times, but that's what happens when a lot of the maps, you know, one frag games or people don't adapt quick enough to Dewey's ability. But, you know, I'm excited. You know, it's like I said earlier, it's been a very long time since we've seen k1llsen and Dewey go head-to-head.
Yeah, it's been a while. This Nyx should be fantastic. I think it's going to be the showcase. k1llsen is so good on the Nyx. We'll see if Dewey has any kind of anti-strat with the Doom guy on Awoken. But I think it might be time. I hear the noises, Lethal. I think we might be able to jump into this one. Map number 1 is going to be Awoken on this set. Who is going to come out on top? You got to love it, man. Finals weekend right here, right now on Awoken. We're going live. Lethal, please run me through what's going down.
I certainly will indeed. As we head into map number 1, we will be starting with Dewey's POV. Find out what he's up to and what his shenanigans are going to be during this first minute. But Dewey knows the exact location. It was thinking of going through the portal. It realises that there's no way he can get the rockets as of yet. k1llsen was expecting it though. But Dewey had other ideas. Hasn't got the height advantage, just barely misses from that rocket. Didn't take too much damage here, but at least he's hidden in that LG area. We're just waiting to see what k1llsen's going to do. But Dewey has the top mid control, hasn't got the rockets as of yet.
Yeah, still no rockets. He's not really going to be able to do much damage from up here. Maybe a rail, some LG. He's going to go for the rail. Very patient is k1llsen. Not wanting to pop the Ghost Walk, but he will eat a rail on the way out. That's about as good as it's going to get for Dewey. He really needs to try and get in on the rockets. Great defensive rail again as the LG rages on from k1llsen here. He's going to drop down. He smells blood in the water. And speaking of water, that's where Dewey is going to end up. Gets pushed off the map. That is a rough start.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a worse start, even if you tried. k1llsen, be happy about that. And a lovely rail straight afterwards. It's only been 1 minute, and it's going to try and a second, not going to happen. Wait for him to go for that light, but will he be able to get him just before he gets it? No, he won't, sadly. But it's been good enough. He's done enough damage. Managed to get the heavy. Massively stats. Got another rail. He's going to go straight after him. Sees him through the telly. Decides not to go be too aggressive. Tries to go for the flank, but instead realizes it's literally right next to him. He can definitely take this. Got a massive stack in comparison. But Dewey just barely gets the mega. But will he win the engagement? It's so weak. He just needs one more shot. Yes, he does. k1llsen left on 39 HP. And 3-0 up within the last 2 minutes.
Good rocket from Dewey, though. He doesn't want to push off of it, doesn't want to push his luck. 3-0 down is already bad. Andy gives up the heavy, but he does have a trap ready for the German there. That's a good frag, although Dewey is left a little low. If k1llsen just jumps right back on the rail, he could get this frag back. Dewey grabs a bubble just to get out of the rail range, and now he has the LG, and he actually makes him pop the Ghost Walk, gets the Mega. This is going to be fantastic for Dewey. He flubs the jump, but he still has an opportunity to trap k1llsen here.
That was guaranteed death there if he didn't use that Ghost Walk. He was trapped from the LG. The patience from Dewey, waiting for him to go top mid, but he's flying high. He's coming straight back down, but both players, very similar stacks. Not anymore, though, as Dewey gets that heavy. Managed to get his rail. And let's see if he does flank round. He doesn't, but k1llsen has got top mid control. Managed to get the light as k1llsen tried to get a little bit of chip damage done there, but So for him, just barely misses, but dooi does have the stack advantage. He's in the right place to go for the attack. k1llsen knows this and has decided to go all the way round and possibly get ready for the next Mega after the heavy appears.
Tries to rail through that telly, misses, so this should be a clean heavy for dooi. And it's just a matter of can he attack this Mega. k1llsen lying in wait. There's a good defensive rocket here. dooi risking it all. He needs to be careful. There's the Ghost Walk. He hears it behind him. Is it too late, though? The rocket's coming out. Decent damage from dooi, and somehow he'll survive. k1llsen almost got the jump on him. Missed rail from dooi. That's going to be a missed opportunity. Sack's about even, though. k1llsen a little bit crazy going up that jump pad, but the LG, little tickle on the way out.
dooi now manages to get the heavy. Timing of the items are still quite segregated, so he has time to try and push for the Mega, but he needs to be careful going up this jump pad with the LG, but the fight comes out anyway. k1llsen realizes that it's just a small stack disadvantage. Tries to hold top mid and hoping that dooi comes in, but it doesn't matter. dooi has other ideas with the direct. And now we're 4 minutes in. dooi manages to get 2 frags to his name. Still plenty of time. Tries to stop k1llsen going for those rockets. Just a little bit too late. The Ghost Walk does pop. But dooi, what's he going to do here? Is he going to chase for that frag, or is he going to rotate around? Looks like he will be rotating. He's going to prioritize the Mega. Going to fake out to see if k1llsen does go for it as well. He doesn't, but looks like this could be another frag for dooi if he chases right, as he goes straight in and manages to get him. Mega is still up. He will be going for that surely.
Oh no, and a slight movement error. I mean, he would have been late anyway, but he may have been able to get a rail on that Mega. So stack in favor of k1llsen, but dooi doing a good job of tying it free. Needs to be careful here. k1llsen actually misses with a rail. Rare sight there as the rocket jump up, the wall jump to try and save his life. dooi just needs to find one, but he can't. The shotgun, the wall jump. k1llsen, he's got the moves.
That's beautiful Ghost Walk there, and a beautiful rail just to add insult to injury. Gets the light and the health bubbles almost back to his default stack.
5-minute warning.
And he's realised that the Mega has been taken. He's trying to keep that top mid controls. Job down to see if he can find anything whilst going for this heavy. May get it uncontested if he's lucky. Beautiful rocket as he pushes for that heavy. And k1llsen's looking very good. Another great rail. He's looking for possibly a second one going up the jump pad. dooi realises there's not really much point and has backed away to re-heal, but hopefully won't get caught off guard on k1llsen, as k1llsen's looking very healthy, looking for such a close opportunity to push in for him. He's going to go for here, using the Ghost Walk just to make dooi panic just slightly, and that's another great rail from k1llsen. And a second one on spawn.
Just relentless from k1llsen, and dooi didn't really have a choice. He knew he had to get out of there, but he just lined up a beautiful shot for k1llsen. Just lobbed it up here, and this is kind of where k1llsen can put the pressure on. Map control goes his way. doooi's kind of stuck running. He doesn't have a rail to fight back right now. He needs to be careful as he makes his way onto it. Mega goes to k1llsen, and k1llsen's right on top of heavy, right at rail. He's like, I know that you need this. There's the shot. Doesn't make it through the crack. That would have been a direct little bit of tri-bolt. That's all dooi can really fight with. Maybe machine gun if he wanted. Wants to get some damage on this heavy. A little bit of tri-bolt again. Not too terrible. Still 2 frags down. k1llsen looking to extend the lead. Good dodge there on that rocket from dooi. Oh no, and this should be a frag, and there it is.
That's such a shame. He's just put out of position. k1llsen still with relative map control, and that tri-bolt damage will give him that slight advantage. He was hoping that he was going to go for the rockets and then to the LG. Not the case. Been a little bit unorthodox. And look at the aggression from dooi. He even got the stack, but he needs to be careful now. k1llsen is very healthy and dooi is very weak. Surely he'll be able to get this frag, waiting for him to find out what doooi's next motive will be. Realises he's going at the telly. Hopefully he can catch him off guard, pushing for the LG. Again, dooi still realises that k1llsen's on guard, just waiting for him. Nice tri-bolt damage. Still very weak and almost back to his default stack, but k1llsen's still looking very good as he pushes in at the perfect time. But look at the damages k1llsen has taken with that huge stack. Waiting for him to go through, but good effort from dooi, but k1llsen still manages to take that frag.
Big rockets there from dooi, unfortunately not getting the frag. Didn't really have a choice. The Ghost Walk coming up big for k1llsen again, taking a 4 frag lead here. And k1llsen's doing a fantastic job of saying, I'm not letting you get rail at all. dooi has not had a rail in like 3 minutes. Every time he tries to go close, k1llsen's already there, positioned on the heavy, just waiting to punish. And the one opportunity that Dooi has, he misreads a little bit here as LG rages on from the German. LG on LG. k1llsen might be able to get this one too. Defaulting to Tribal, grabs a 25 on his way out. Dooi is hurting right now. Needs to be careful on the cross, but k1llsen is waiting with that rail. Just stacking bodies right now. 2 minutes left, a 5-frag lead, and this is slowly slipping away from Dooi.
It really is. And now with the LG from k1llsen, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. Ghostwalk comes out. And he might actually get his first rail soon in a long time, like you mentioned earlier, 40. But speaking of rails, k1llsen, he just barely misses, and it gave Dooi a huge opportunity to come through with that shotgun. But at least Doi's going to go straight to see if he can get the spawn frag. I'm not sure if he will. Yes, he does. That's unbelievable. 58 HP though. Needs to restack. Needs to go for this heavy if he can. But k1llsen's already prioritizing that, going straight there. But he's worried in case Doi's still waiting.
Dooi will grab this Mega. He needs some armor. Minute 23 frags. It's doable on Awoken, but it's still getting very, very close. And k1llsen's so slippery, looking like a pair of Vans as he's just jumping off the wall every time they get in an engagement, making it very hard to land damage. Dooi trying to play silent from down below now. Trying to trap. He's going to have to give away his position with the jump pad, and that's going to make k1llsen go, okay, well, I'm out of here. There's the fadeaway rail. Little miss, a little bit of rocket damage. There's the LG from behind. k1llsen does have Ghost Walk, holding on to it for dear life here as the rail will miss from Dooi, and the hunt is on. 1 minute left. Good defensive rail from k1llsen. Is he going to hang in there? Both players missing their rails. There's another one from Dooi. k1llsen somehow missing, popping the Ghost Walk. Dooi out of rail range now, but Mega goes to k1llsen, and that's just so heartbreaking, Lethal.
Yeah, this is not good at all. So much damage here, and k1llsen just making matters worse. 2 for 2. k1llsen's going to try and go for the flank to see if he will try and go for the heavy. He has done, but it's too little too late. 5 frags up. 25 seconds left, waiting for the spawn on the LG. And that's pretty much said and done here, 40. Already the first map goes to k1llsen. It was very close to begin with, but it's just a shame. Just too much item control from k1llsen and not enough congestion.
Just really, really good control of the railgun. Making sure that Dooi doesn't have anything to fight back with, and the wall jumps, man. Look at that. Another one for k1llsen. Just perfect dodging from the German, making it extremely difficult for Dooi to land any damage. Again, no rail, so the distance fight is in k1llsen's favor. He just played that really well. And again, k1llsen on Nyx. Name a better combo. I don't know, chat, because it was just poetry in motion, and k1llsen pulls out the first map.
Yeah, the fact that he kept Dooi away from the rail for so long was just unbelievable. You know, most commonly on Woken, you see your opponent normally try and look out and see if they stop you from going for the rockets on spawn, which is quite understandable, was quite common. But for the rail for 3 or 4 minutes, that's unheard of. I suppose at the same time, whilst he's doing that, he can at least contest the heavy from a great position every time round. But k1llsen just looked phenomenal. Great rails every single time. Dooi made a good effort when he had, you know, the default stack was k1llsen had a huge advantage, but it just wasn't to be. And the Ghost Walks were just unbelievable.
Yeah, really, really good use of the Ghost Walk. And again, the wall jump, the passive from Nyx, just getting so much out of that, dodging all of Dewey's damage, throwing off his rockets, making it so frustrating and hard to hit. And yeah, k1llsen came up big, so to speak, making his team name proud, putting up the first map, trying to look for a clean sweep, but can Dooi bring back map number 2 and send it to 3? We will find out shortly, Lethal.
Some words there from k1llsen, I'm sure you can assume when they could be, as he was getting a little bit frustrated during the first half. But after that, especially at this moment in time, you was right though. I think those few minutes of not having the rail, think of the circumstances Dooi had to put himself in. You know, if he had the top mid position and he was trying to stop you from getting heavy or getting the mega, mostly the heavy because of how great the angle is, it's just not possible. Even trying to catch you off guard on spawn at the LG. There's so much lost damage which he could have had just not having that rail. It's just unbelievable. But k1llsen just did a very good job knowing Dewey's style, knowing that he likes to play like that. And when you get a player who just hits all his rails at just the most absurd angles, it's very difficult.
Yeah, very, very difficult indeed as we take a look at the accuracy and the scores there. Nothing crazy from k1llsen. I mean, usually he hits, what, 60, 70, and that's kind of the eye-opener, maybe the odd 80, but 44, respectable still, got the job done. And again, since he kind of took away rail from Dooi for most of that game, it was all gravy for him. So well done to k1llsen on the first map. Dewey's got to clean up some of his game going into the second. And tournament life not on the line, but lower bracket is something that everyone wants to stay away from, especially now that Avic's down there. It's a dangerous place, Lethal.
Yeah, it's going to get even more dangerous after these round 2 winners bracket matchups. You saw the damage there, 1180 more damage for k1llsen. So much map presence across the board. He didn't really have too much top mid control either. It's just the paths, the routes he was taking is very unorthodox, is catching him off guard left, right and centre on numerous occasions. And it was a little bit of a shame, but hopefully now we're going to do his map pick and we can see what it can do and see if we can actually force his style onto k1llsen.
Yep. I hope everyone's down with the thickness, chat, because we're getting sore lag and scale bear. It's going to be great. Molten Falls, always a good one. But yeah, dooi has to pull this one out, send it to a third map. Otherwise, k1llsen advances. dooi gets knocked to the lowers quite early. I'm sure he doesn't want that. We'll see what he has in store. Maybe I jinxed him. I don't know. Maybe I'm a terrible person, Lethal. I don't know. I'm starting to feel guilty. But to be fair, I did say that k1llsen on Nyx is a brutal combination. So I think that first map kind of was already in k1llsen's favor. But dooi played great for the first couple minutes, and then just once he lost control and then couldn't even get a rail, it was brutal. I wonder if k1llsen's going to try to do the same thing here. Rail room on this map specifically is also a bit of a trap too, so we'll see how it plays out based off the spawns.
Do you reckon that you're going to still stick with your prediction after what you just saw?
I will never back down. How dare you? Yeah.
All right, all right.
I'm a beak of my word, Lethal. Okay, how dare you? This mustache doesn't lie. It's still going to be 2-1 dooi. Somehow, some way, he'll find a way.
We'll have to see, because dooi is very good at Molten Falls. You know, we've seen it time and time again. Every time he plays this map, it's kind of like his breeding ground. You know, every opponent who comes up against him, it's a very, very close every single time without fail. He's so good with the chip damage and keeping his opponents at bay. A real thorn, you could say, but can he do it against the rampage of k1llsen in terms of his extreme aggression? It's going to be very, very difficult here for you. I don't know.
It's going to be a tall order, but we'll see if he could do it. I think we might get into it shortly here. I hear the noises. I hear the Intergalactic Warlord and Sorbet going at it for the warm-up, so hopefully we'll get in there shortly. But yeah, nobody wants to go through this entire tournament in the lower bracket, so I know dooi has that in the back of his head, taking it one map at a time, but this is a big one for him right here. It's going to be a tall order against Sorlag, especially k1llsen with that rail that we saw earlier. Brutal, but I feel I still have faith in my boy. dooi can do it. It's just a matter of bringing that A game. If he can get a 1 or 2 frag lead and start playing that defensive style, even better. I don't know if it's going to go that way. It really depends off the first initial frag and how he sets the tempo if you can.
Yeah, we've only had a taste, even just a flavour of what's to come. You know, dooi does have the ingredients to stop k1llsen. It's just a matter of if he can. That first map did go in his favour in some ways. He had good control. He's always keeping k1llsen away, always kept his distance. But that was a smaller map. Awoken, we know how hectic and chaotic it can be. But this map is an entirely different story. We should see a low frag game, depending on if k1llsen can be the one to get the right flanks to catch him off guard. It really depends on what dooi can do. He needs to really control the beast, in all fairness. But can he? Well, that's just another question. Will it be a 2-0 series for k1llsen, or can dooi tie things up and take us to map number 3? Next map is going to be on Molten Falls, and we'll find out what dooi can do here.
Find out indeed, as we're going to start off on k1llsen. He's delaying the Mega just a skosh here, about 8 seconds off. Already has rockets, wants to make his way towards that rail. He's waiting patiently on shotgun, waiting for sound cues. dooi, on the other hand, waiting for k1llsen to come get the rail. Game of chess, Lethal. Or checkers if you're ZSX and, you know, always want to just downplay NA. It's fair. It's fair.
I was maybe to say Connect 4, but same skill. Same skill. Almost as close. But k1llsen, anyway, in a huge stack, he's going to go back for that Mega anyway. He's going to find out exactly what's going on. Took a bit of chip damage there from that rail. Doesn't matter too much now after getting that 50. We'll see how he's going to approach this heavy. It is going to be up in the next 10 seconds. dooi in a much better spot. Huge advantage to him in terms of positioning. But has decided to back away. Interesting. But then again, look at k1llsen's stack. Slightly understandable. Maybe if dooi got one rail off, then could be a different story. But doii's just like, no, I'm just going to back away for now. And then see if I can contest another item later.
Ooh, there's a drop down that dooi didn't expect. Good rocket, though, defensively. Spares him any oncoming damage here. Here's the jump pad, just waiting for this 50 shard pickup, trying to get some rails. Bobbing and weaving. Ooh, but he gets a rail on the way out as he turns those cheeks to run and hide. k1llsen gets the damage on the way out. There's the rocket jump up. He wants to take the fight to dooi. A rail won't save his life, neither will the bull rush, as k1llsen melts him down with the LG and gets one frag 2 minutes in.
Ooh, and he caught him off guard with the LG again. He may have burnt heavy, but can he actually be able to stay alive? I'm not sure if he can, but k1llsen, though, still trying to get away. But look at this, though. doii's on his tail. Not going to happen, though. It still had plenty of HP and is way too out of range to get any kind of decent damage with that shotgun. k1llsen back in a fantastic spot here. Huge advantage in terms of his positioning. listening out to see where Dewey could be or where he could be located. He's going to realise he is near that rail jump pad, waiting for him to go for the telly. It's possible, but he realises now that he's way too far away to even try and contest that heavy, and he's going to go on for the flank to see if he does force out an engagement for this Mega. But Dewey again realises there's not really much point, hasn't got the stack, definitely hasn't after taking that rail, and k1llsen is on the hunt.
He's got the spit, he's got every single weapon he needs. He spots out the shoulder. This could be curtains for Dooi as the defensive rocket's not landing. There's a little bit of spit for insurance and a shotgun blast, and he's just gonna let Dooi hang as he's just waiting on these bubbles in the bull rush. I don't know about that one. Shouldn't have burned it, but he tried. That's gonna cost him big, 3-0, and he's gonna lose out on the heavy and just drop down on the lightning. k1llsen perfect positioning. That's 4-0 for the German early on. And he needs to stop the bleeding, does Dooi. That's a good rocket, but really just propels him towards the Mega as he wants to take this fight. There's another rocket. Rocket's raging on, and he actually gets the trade, and that is not bad for Dooi. He is going to be caught out by LG again. Unfortunate spawn. There's the spit as well. He needs to find a bubble. He does mitigate the spit, and he's trying to lay down some nail damage right there, and he can't do it. The LG's too strong. 9 HP for k1llsen. And there's a shot.
It's alright, Phil. You can have a breather now. That was just a ridiculous
I can't.
45 seconds. I know. You tried anyway. But look at this. So Dooi needs to try and come back somehow, some way. Gets the first rail. Almost hit the second. That would have been amazing, but that doesn't matter. He managed to get the third. Has the positional advantage. Has the ball rush as well. But what is k1llsen going to do? Is he going to go for the chip? Is he going to try and get away? Still in a good position, but Dooi is the one with the stack. Not after that first rail, but k1llsen's like, you know what? I'm going to go straight in with the LG. Taking way too much damage. Misses the ball rush. k1llsen somehow was the one who came out on top.
Yeah, I think Dooi wanted to divert at the last second, just get out of there. The LG on LG battle will actually go Dewey's favor after the Mega pickup. Not bad. But again, when you're playing against Sorlag and other heavy champions, you're dealing with a full stack right off the bat. So as stacked as Dooi is, he's got a long way to go to try and melt this dinosaur again. 7-3, already 4 frag deficit, and that's hard enough to come out from. So Dooi needs to be careful with his next couple moves. Make sure it's a solid fight. That rail is going to make sure it's not. The second one especially. Good rocket, 68 HP, but the rail up the jump pad, it's just easy for k1llsen.
Shame, that was good. Abuse of the map geometry there, but k1llsen's still with the LG. Surely he can't take this. No, of course not. Dooi. Nice ball rush from him. Needs to try and get to his default stack. Still 5 minutes left, but Dooi needs to really show us something special here. Not miracle work, but just enough to keep k1llsen at bay. That's a good start. Just barely managed to survive that engagement. Gets to heavy. Needs to get his HP if he can. Of course, he can go for the 50 on a Mega, but decides to prioritize it on the rail side. But he's going to see if he can stop getting k1llsen with all the weapons in his arsenal. Sadly misses that first rail. That would have been a good start. We'll see what Dooi can do here.
Gonna try and do some damage on this LG. Sees the dinosaur running in. There's the bull rush. Misses it. And he needs to get out. Tries to divert, but the chase is on. k1llsen knows all of that damage adds up. Even with the damage mitigation on the rush, just chases him down 9-5. Dooi back down to a 4 frag deficit. We see Dooi, if things go his way, if he can hit the bull rush, get the damage, it's a-okay, but k1llsen needs to be more cognizant of that and just not give him the opportunity, especially with the 4 frag lead. There's a good rail from k1llsen there. Dooi already getting one of his own in there. There's another one. That's the wrong weapon you want to have. The shotgun zoomed in right into Sorlak's face. Like, I can't imagine getting any deeper into her face hole right there. Shotgun will land. Rail will not. Very weak is Dooi as he backs off, and he needs to survive right now. Can he make it till the Mega is the question, Lethal.
Ooh, I think he can actually. He's quite far away. I wouldn't say it was mistimed. He just was trying to re-heal himself, but it doesn't matter. He's still got the stack advantage in terms of k1llsen. Doi's still looking to see if he can get the flank on. Not going to happen. He's going to go to the LG stairs. Dooi waiting for him to go through that telly. Hears him. Knows he's coming through now. Dodges the toxic. It's a first very good rail, but it could be a bit too much. Gets to heavy anyway. Very, very lucky, but saw there k1llsen took a bit too much time to decide when to fire those rockets. k1llsen gets the Mega. Dooi has to back away, but it looks like it's going to be a stalemate now for the next fight until this heavy reappears. But Dooi needs to do something fast, needs to do something quick. We know what this map can be like, especially with k1llsen using that Sorlag with the mobility and the velocity of managing to get away.
Ooh, the Rocket not giving all the damage he wants. 47 HP. He gets the heavy just in the nick of time. He wanted to bull rush him off the map, but k1llsen with the sidestep and the spit. That'll melt dooi. Unfortunate down for again at less than 3 minutes. There's the LG on LG. Can he melt k1llsen? He cannot. The stack is too good. The LG is too long, too strong. Got a lot of friction on. Up 5 now, Lethal.
His tracker name's absurd at the moment. It's not only his rail. And all he needs to do now, just keep him at bay, do the chip damage, but it looks like k1llsen's not even thinking about that. He's not even thinking about playing passively and just keeping dooi away. He's trying to do everything he can, and why not? He's still got the stack. There's no reason for him not to run away or anything like that. But now k1llsen's going to see where dooi is going to go. He knows he's going to be at the light going for that mega. He drops down straight away. He's got the bull rush out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. k1llsen's LG is just way too strong. Good attempt, but just not good enough. 2 minutes left, still needs 7 frags. Not sure if this is doable for you.
Yeah, it's looking more and more unlikely here as dooi's hand was forced. He knows the time is ticking. If he lets it get too out of hand, he needs kind of a risk, and none of them are going his way, unfortunately. He's going to keep trying, though. He's going to play until double zeros. The rockets rain down. The rail will miss from k1llsen, but this lead, I fear, has just gotten too big. Catches him out, doesn't get the kill. The rockets won't land, and the mega's right there for k1llsen. That dinosaur is going to be extremely healthy again, and again, dooi has this giant mountain to climb to even get a frag back. So, looking pretty rough, Lethal. 1:20 on the board, k1llsen up big.
It really is. He's just making matters worse, increasing his lead. Sadly misses that rail, but it doesn't matter. Look at the scoreline. The damage has already been done. 1:10 left on the clock. dooi needs to do some miracle work earlier, but good attempts in there in terms of actually trying to put k1llsen in an uncomfortable position, but he didn't really do it enough. As you can see, trying to contest that mega, but k1llsen's already doing a huge amount of damage, finished him off with the LG, and the time is ticking, but sadly it's already been done. First rail comes in, so does the second. Will it be 3 for 3? No, it just barely misses him. It was a bit of a shame. Would have been a nice play to finish off the match. But it looks like k1llsen's going to back away for now.
Oh, what a flip rail on the way down. A little bit of spit as well. He's going to deny these bubbles. Make dooi try and find a little something, something. There's the LG float near the end. The last 20 seconds. dooi fight until the bloody end here. He's going to be sent into the lower bracket by k1llsen. I think a pretty good effort from dooi. I don't think he really played exactly how he wanted. k1llsen didn't really allow it. Didn't even really let him get rail, as we saw in the first map, and it just came up big for k1llsen. Fantastic play, showing why he's been the champion before, and he's going to advance.
Yeah, that was phenomenal stuff. We thought it was going to be a lot closer than we expected, but k1llsen pretty much destroyed our prediction in terms of going to a map number 3. But look at the damage. Absolutely ridiculous. 1,630 more damage. That's a ridiculous amount of map presence. 25 items taken. Didn't really give dooi much of a chance to even try and contest for them, let alone even go for them at all. It was absolute madness. dooi was not really feeling comfortable throughout the entire match out.
Yeah, I feel like I jinxed all of NA. Wheat, why don't you come back and shame me in front of everyone, because that's my fetish.
So 40, we need to have a conversation. No, I'm just kidding. You know what I want to say is that I mentioned earlier that, k1llsen, he's had a just ups and downs through all of stage 1. And I think that if he was going to perform well in this tournament, this was the game that he needed to have, right? He looked really solid. He was making his shots. His confidence level looked at an all-time high. I'm seeing chat, a lot of the comments, and they're like, all right, this is looking like a good k1llsen. If k1llsen just can remain consistent over the course of this weekend, this is a contender right here. I thought he looked really great. I mean, I don't want to take away from dooi in game 1, I was really impressed, but I think as k1llsen was finding his footholds, he was like, all right, I've got confidence. I can beat dooi. I should beat dooi. Let's do what I need to do. And I think that's what we saw there in that second map. So I'm not going to shame you, 40. It is any given Sunday, all weekend long here for the QPL Stage 1 finals. We've already seen some results maybe that we didn't expect. So I'm going to let you off the hook on this one, 40, because, you're my friend and I care about you. And I know that you care about others with mustaches. And so I care about others with mustaches too. So it's all good. We're not going to fault you or shame you at all. But we'll just pretend like that never happened.
Fantastic. Let's just sweep that under the rug. But yeah, I really feel like Dooi didn't really play the game he wanted because k1llsen didn't allow it. So even more props to k1llsen for playing his game, forcing Dooi on the back foot, again, on Awoken. Just complete dominance with the rail, not even letting Dooi fight back with that weapon. And I think that was huge on map number 1. And then from there, I mean, Molten Falls was a little bit rough as well. We saw swings, kind of. We saw the ability for Dooi to get back into it and claw his way back, but k1llsen shut it down immediately off the spawn with the spit, with the defensive rockets. It was just really well played from k1llsen, but I hope to see more of Dooi as he has to power his way through the lower bracket now, which is not going to be fun for anybody.
Not fun for anyone at all. It's just absurd. Like 63% rail. Like I think even his LG and Rockets were in the 50s. That's very, very rare. Like even against a large champion, I can see why Dooi was getting so frustrated. He's like, well, what else can I do? Like, what do I need to do to take down k1llsen? And sadly, he didn't figure it out in the end. It was, yeah, it's a real shame. But he's got a second chance anyway.
Yep, second chances indeed. It's going to be tough down there in the lower bracket, but, at least you still have got a chance. k1llsen, however, will move on. And when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the brackets and see how they've updated and what's coming up next. But we have another round of 24 matchup coming at you right after we come back from this break. So thanks for joining us for the QPL Stage 1 Finals. We'll be back with lots more right after this.